Hello everybody and welcome to the Community Showcase webinar. I'm super excited to be hosting this one today because I've never done one before and they've always been some of my favorites. It's the place, if you don't know, to get inspiration on how people are using Wakelet in the community and to see the real insider view of all of these amazing educators' workflows and collections and profiles and everything to do with Wakelet. So it's going to be brilliant. So just before we get going, we've got loads of people joining us today. So we've got people in Atlanta, we've got Portugal, we've got Rosa in Portugal there. We have people from Ukraine and Malaysia. It's amazing. One of the things I love most about the community is how global it is. So I'm glad everyone from all over is joining us today. It's going to be a really good session. So we have 3 people up today to present. We have Sarah, Roslyn and Felicia. And up first, we're going to have Sarah. So if we just bring Sarah up onto the screen. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Glad to see you here. It's going to be a great showcase. So maybe, what have you got in store to showcase today?
So yeah, I'm going to be sharing some of the ways that we're using Wakelet within, well, how I'm using it as a teacher, first of all. Then going to be looking at how we're using it as a department and how we're using it as a whole school. So just really some ideas for people to let them see exactly why we're using it, and maybe give them some ideas of how they can use it in their classrooms as well and across their school.
That's amazing.
Lots of examples to show today.
Amazing. I'm sure there's going to be loads of questions about this because it's, you can use Wakelet in many ways, as you're saying, across the whole school flow. So if anyone has any questions, just drop them in the chat. And at the end of Sarah's session, we'll go through and answer as many as we can. And just in case anyone's wondering, the certificate for this session will be sent out at the end in the link. So Sarah, I'll let you take it away and I'll see you when you're done.
Excellent, thank you very much. So I should be hopefully sharing my screen just now. You can let me know that that's up and running because I disappear off the screen when this happens.
That's perfect, we can see it.
Excellent, okay, so I was thinking to myself, what would I call this? Wakelet for the win, something like that. So my name is Sarah Clark and I am one of the Wakelet ambassadors. I'm also MIE lead fellow here in Scotland. But most importantly, I'm a biology and science teacher over at Queen Anne High School in Dunfermline, Fife, here in Scotland. So if anybody's on Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at SFM36, where I share out everything that's happening within the classroom and any of the technologies that I'm using, mainly so that I don't forget, so that I can go back and look at them. But if anybody wants to connect with me over Twitter, I'm very, very happy to talk all things Wakelet and technology at any time. Basically, that seems to be my hobby now, is being on Twitter. So when the guys from Wakelet came on first and says, you want to come on and have a little chat, I thought about, did I talk about one thing? But we use Wakelet in our classroom a lot and across our whole school. So I thought I would kind of take it in 3 sections and talk about one of the main way that I'm using it within my classroom, and then talk about how we've been using it across our school. Mainly, we use it for curation. It is this amazing tool for curation and sharing out. But for me as a teacher, I first used it just to gather save for later. I've put that one down here. I should probably put that one first. Any tweets, files, videos, or documents that I come across that are important, that I know I'm going to read, but I don't have the time to sit down and read at that particular time, goes into my Wakelet that's called Save for Later. I can then put them into a organised afterwards, but I put them all in that first of all, so that I can just go in and I can have a little look, and if it's not what I thought it was going to be, I just delete it, and I'm not going to keep it. But all my important things are there. But within the classroom and within the classroom and with my learners, the main way I use it for, probably most often, is for guided research. As in science, we're often sending kids to various different websites, documents, for them to gather information, to bring it back to the lesson. And what we find is that the kids go out onto the internet and they're just there for days looking for information. Before I was using Wakelet, it meant that I had 5, 6, 7 different links for them and documents and telling them where to go. And it just took them ages. So when I found Wakelet, I thought, this is so much easier. I'm sharing it with one link, but the kids are just able to go on. It's a streamlined approach. They're not going off onto various websites. We know all the websites that they're using are robust, that they're safe for them. And it just makes their gathering of information so much more productive. We also are often using it for them to upload their work. So one of the examples, I'm going to be flicking my screen back and forward a little bit to show you examples. But one of them was an ecosystems session that they were doing. And what the students were given, and it's a little bit all over the place because it's a live document, but the students were having to find information about different ecosystems, coral reefs, grasslands, and then they had to collate that information into a sway. But then it's going, well, they've got that information in a sway. How do we get it back from them? And the easiest thing we found was for them, we shared that collaboration link with them. They then uploaded their sway, and we were then able to look at them together as a class afterwards. So it made it much easier for them to share the information with us. Alongside that one, I'm also using it for revision. So I'm going back and forward here as well. At the end of topics, revision is a huge part for us. We have revision at the end of units. We have revision at the end of topics. We have revisions at the end of course. And with this one, this was all kind of made up from BBC Bite-Size stuff. So the topic the students were doing was enzymes. But we find that there's information on various parts of the BBC Bite-Size website. So we wanted to share a video with them, but we also then wanted to share the notes that were on a different page from them. We then had an explanation of temperature and enzymes, and being able to integrate Flipgrid with it meant that I was able to take an image from the BBC Bite-Size website, and I was then able to take them through. Let's see if I can scoot forward. And I was then able to take them through and annotate on top of the diagram and explain. So when they were coming back and they were preparing for their assessment, not only did they have the videos from the website, they also had a video from me in there that explained the effect that temperature had on enzyme activity. So that's been a big win, being able to incorporate those really simple and quick Flipgrid videos to them. The staff collaboration as well has been a huge one for us, that if we're working together as a department and we're wanting to share resources, we do work in teams, and we have information that we store in teams, and we share our Wakelets in teams as well. But if we're all working on particular topics, so for example, in fact, today we've been working on deforestation with the students, but our staff have got a collection where we all add resources. So you've got 6 people in our department that are able to add resources to one Wakelet. Then I can look at that collection and either share that out with students or pick the information that's going to be beneficial for my students and share that out with them in another Wakelet. So the Wakelet is rippling all over the place. Also for Parents' Night, we report to our parents 4 times a year on an online platform. And with our reporting, we are sharing with our parents exactly where the students are in the course, what they can do to improve. And the Wakelet was shared with the parents that had various resources for the students to use when it came to them preparing for their next assessments as well. So it wasn't necessarily, we did share it with students, but what we wanted is for our parents to be able to access that as well. Our parents can't access the team that we use within our platform. It's only accessible by students, but our parents want to be involved in their student learning. So being able to share those resources with the parents as well on the online platform was a big benefit from us. And we can also then see how many parents have gone on and looked at it as well. So we can see that the parents are actually engaging with the resource that we sent out to them. In terms of across our department, this is where the revision materials have came in really handy. And I love the fact that there are QR codes for it. This is outside my classroom. And our senior pupil students have assessments at the end of the year. We have National 5 exams, we have higher exams, and we have advanced higher exams. And there's so many different resources. and we're trying to guide their revision without them getting lost. So what we do is we put all the resources into a Wakelet. We then grab the QR code for that Wakelet. We share the link on Teams with the students anyway, but we also have around our department these posters that's got the Wakelet on it. I was at an event, a Microsoft event, and saw somebody share this, another ambassador share this, and I thought, this is brilliant. So you see the kids in the corridors with their phones out, scanning the QR codes, and then they've got a link to all the resources. And what we do with that, if I find an example of it here, we pull so many different things together for them. They have a PDF summary document that they get a printed copy of as well, but if they lose a printed copy, they can easily get themselves another copy as the PDF. We've taken videos from YouTube as well. We're finding the students really enjoy watching the short 15-minute videos. Some of them are created by us, some of them are created by other people, and we're putting them in there along with those Flipgrid videos, as we said. And then after each video, we're able to give them a forum. And I've shared this before because we find that it just works so well for our students. Video form. But then at the end of it, so that's for each different topic that we cover. But then at the end of it, we're also able to share some other things as well, like links to flashcards on Quizlet. And the fact that this is all just in one place for them means that they know exactly where to go, and there's no excuses now in the classroom. We can always say, well, the QR code's there and you've got the link, and everything that you need to know is there. So within our department, that's probably the biggest win for us, has been able to share those revision topics and share resources with each other as well. The last thing I want to talk about, I'm just quite conscious of time. The last thing we want to talk about is how we've used this as a school. There's quite a lot of staff now on riding that Wakelet wave. They've seen the benefits of it, and our guidance staff have shared a wellbeing profile. They also share course choice information. So our students at the end of S2 going into S3 have to make a choice on the subjects that they want to do. So it used to be a paper booklet that they got. Now what the staff are doing is putting information from every department into a Wakelet. That can be shared out on the team for all our S2 pupils. It can also be shared out on social media for our parents, as well as sent home to our parents, and we send out a group call message to them. So to let you see some of our whole school use, this is our wellbeing one. So one of the guidance teachers here, he created the collection, and then he's got 3 Wakelets in there, and he's sharing resources to support wellbeing, one for parents, one for teachers, and one for pupils, and all, local support where they can go to get help with their mental health is in there. There's links to other websites that are in it, and it's tailored for whether that's a student or whether that's a teacher or whether that's a pupil. So it's been a fantastic resource for us to share out. Also, all our digital resources have been gathered together on a Wakelet. We had tons of resources, and we were finding our staff were trying to find them and didn't know where they were looking. So what we've done is we've pulled it all together in one place. There is Flipgrid grids that we've put all together. We've been able to upload photos of how to join the Educator Centre. We've put in Wakelets of other Wakelets. We've got collections of videos in there. We've got sways. So everything has been put together in one place, and our staff can then go to the particular place to find various recordings and images and links to websites that they're using. So for us, it started off as something that we did teacher by teacher. It then progressed to departments using it, and it's now progressed to our whole school using it. And our NQTs they're our newly qualified teachers. The member of staff that leads that group now no longer communicates via email with them. All information gets sent out weekly to them as to what upcoming sessions they've got, any recommended reading that they have to do, and any meetings that they've got, and that's all sent out weekly through a Wakelet and is all shared on Teams. So the integration with Wakelet and Teams has been massively valuable for us, and it is most definitely a tool that's grown in our school that we're finding the benefits from. So if there are, I'll stop sharing my screen there and then see if there are any questions that have popped up.
That was brilliant, Sarah. I was just looking in the chat whilst you were presenting, and to be honest, a lot of them were just saying that they absolutely agree with you. It's really good being able to share all of the resources in one place. But I did have a couple of questions. You mentioned that you found the Teams integration really useful and the Flipgrid integration because you can put all of that stuff in one place, like you say. But I was wondering, do you have like a favorite integration that you find the most useful in your flow?
Being able to put in forums is probably the biggest one within our Wakelet, because we then are able to assess the kids and check their learning as well. So instead of them, it is a place where they're going to get the information, but we can then go back and check, because it easily integrates with forums, that the students can then do the forum straight on the Wakelet as well, and then I can see the results from that. So being able to add that element of they have to do something in it. And also, I like it for exit passes. I didn't actually have one shared because it has a lot of the students' names on it, but I like the fact that at the end of the lesson I can put up a question and the kids can click on it. They can share it with a QR code, they scan it on their way out, and as they're walking down the corridor, they're putting in their little bit of information that they've picked up from that class, and it's just an easy way to do it, and it's an easy way to gather it all together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of the nicest things, like you say, is the entry and exit tickets, just like using it as a place to check in and out of lessons. And especially through remote learning as well, it was really nice to see how people were using that as a way to connect with students when they weren't necessarily able to be there in person. If anyone has any questions for Sarah, still put them in the chat, because at the end of the session, we'll be coming back and we can get them answered then. Or if anyone has any comments just generally to add, like the ways they use it or anything, just feel free to go in there, and yeah, we'll get back to them at the end. So thanks so much, Sarah. Stay behind the scenes and we'll see you again later.
I will do. Great, thank you.
No worries. Okay, so up next we have Roslyn and Felisa from... Hi, are you okay?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So you two are doing a bit of a double act session, aren't you?
We are. We are actually in the same space, in the same district.
It's going to be brilliant. Again, if anyone has any questions about this session, just pop them in the chat, because at the end we'll be coming back and we can get everything answered. But I'm super excited for this one. What are you going to be diving into?
So we're going to be talking about how we are using Wakelet for personalized learning, student portfolios, PL for adults, as well as student support. So before we get started, I'm Felisa Ford, a digital learning specialist with Atlanta Public Schools.
And if hopefully, Sam, hopefully I'm sharing my screen. I am Dr. Rosalind Washington. I'm a digital learning specialist as well with Atlanta Public Schools, and I am a literacy digital learning specialist. And to my colleagues, social studies. We also have two more digital learning specialists, one for math and one for science. And we're both MIEE experts here in Georgia. That's what I wanted to get in. And part of our role is that we support all of the schools here in Atlanta Public Schools, as well as supporting 16 dynamic ed tech specialists. And now I think we're up to 36 though, because our team has grown and also includes school-based ed tech specialists, all of whom are charged with supporting our new initiative coming out in January. Our district is in an awesome transition. We've got 5 goals, 5 areas of focus, and one of which is personalized learning. So we are on a personalized learning journey. Felisa, you want to share some more about that?
Yes, so for us, Wakelet was the obvious choice for personalized learning because it allows our students to have all of their content in one place. It allows teachers to be able to differentiate by content, by task, all while keeping students in the same platform. So Wakelet is one of the EdTech tools that we often share with teachers and train with teachers on how they can use that. And we'll share some of our Wakelet later on in the session. But it's definitely all about personalization for us, and we consider that to be one of our North Stars in Atlanta Public Schools.
So if possible, we're just going to jump right on in to some ways that we know Wakelet can be used not only to organize information, but to personalize content for students. So here we're looking at a Wakelet created for Dr. Henderson Roster's biology course, and this is set up for Group A. And we know that teachers can differentiate and have several groups within one class and one course. And so Group A then would be given these 7 items, which includes an ed puzzle, a YouTube video, another YouTube video, all at PDFs, various PDFs, all on the topic of biology. And so then they'll be charged with reading these over a 6-week course. And Dr. Henderson Rosser can create a Wakelet for Group B, a Wakelet for Group C. And because it is a Wakelet, we can then share that out to Google Classroom, share that out to Microsoft Teams, as well as embedding it in a newsletter and emailing it home to parents.
And that's really important to us because as a district, we consider ourselves to be a hybrid district. We use both Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams, but this is a way that we can create student assignments, have multiple assignments within one Wakelet, and still keep students safe with whether it's Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams.
And then also part of personalization and supporting students are the integrations that Wakelet has built in. Talk a little bit about Immersive Reader and how that can support students.
So that's another way that we like to support students with the Immersive Reader feature, because we know that all students aren't reading at the same level, or there may even need to be language attributions that students need, or attainment of language. Wakelet allows students to own the content and have those built-in supports without feeling as if they are being a spotlight is put on them for needing additional support. So they can have access to the content in a dignified manner while receiving the support that they need, whether it's for social studies, science, or math. The students are all working to gain that mastery in that content. And Wakelet is a platform that allows us to do that for all of our students.
And we talk a lot about dignity. Part of that has to be privacy. And we love that Wakelet then allows a private platform where I don't know, Rosalind doesn't know what Felisa's Wakelet looks like per se, or I don't know what group she's in or whatever. And then my group in the Teams or in the Zoom or in the Google Classroom are able to just click on the link and go straight to our resources.
Right, and we love that we can customize the Wakelets. They can look very similar, but have different content.
Yes.
So that only the teacher knows maybe that this Wakelet is for specific support. But the students, when they look at it, they're all working on Wakelet and specific content.
Exactly. So let's look at another example. Here we have a class portfolio. So a teacher might choose to build out a class portfolio of class books. And then this would be for students to reflect on. You can embed a flip grid here so that after they're looking at their peers' books, you know, I'm literacy and I love writing, and you can send this home. You can again place it in all of your platforms, and it can also go in the newsletter, and it becomes an archive then of the student work in the student class.
Well, I'm happy that you are showcasing this, I guess, portfolio of student work. So that's really important for us also. We want to be able to have a safe space where students can showcase their work. And this is an example of a social studies project where students can showcase what they have done on their project in Abraham Lincoln. With the new creation of student accounts for Wakelet, it just makes it easier for students to be able to create their own Wakelet and create a portfolio. And they can have this from the beginning of school to the end to showcase all of their projects or whatever they're working on, and also to show growth from the beginning of school to the end of school. And we want to make sure that we're putting our students in the light where they can be successful. And these portfolios are a way for them to highlight their mastery, their bills, all of that.
And it's also a space where students can collaborate together and co-create a portfolio. So this is a single student, but it could just as easily be a spot where several students are working together on a project, an end of the year exhibition, that sort of a thing. And then again, I touched slightly on the idea of archiving, but these can be saved from year to year and become part of a student's longitudinal portfolio. And they can travel with them from school to school. And so that's another great thing about student portfolios.
Absolutely. And students can even provide feedback, with the sub-collections that they can add to a Wakelet that a teacher has created. They can provide reactions or feedback to a peers, because we know that when students are creating and developing for an authentic audience, then they're more likely to produce high quality content. And we want to make sure that we are setting them up for success. Also, using the research and writing process. We do a lot of work around that, making sure that our students have those skills that they need for the research and the writing and curating content. And Wakelet is absolutely perfect for that. So this brings us to the Wakelet extension.
And we're chuckling because I am a fanatic with the Wakelet Chrome extension. But it is, as students are on their Chromebooks, and we are a district that has a number of Chromebooks. Many of you have gone one-to-one in the midst of the pandemic. And so as our students are doing that research for their writing, and they're coming across materials and sources, they don't have to remember, they don't have to try to bookmark that site. They don't have to try to copy the URL. They can simply use the Wakelet Chrome extension and save it to a Wakelet. Okay, and then they can utilize that not only for their research and writing, but when it comes time to build citations. Okay, and so that you see here at the end of the research portfolio, we have an area for sources, and the student can show their sources here. The Chrome extension is also really versatile. Let me go back over here to Dr. Henderson-Rosser's biology course. And as Dr. Henderson-Rosser is collaborating with her co-teachers, collaborating with her resource teachers, collaborating with media services or literacy, as they are co-creating units, they can be using the Chrome extension to add things to Wakelets, and then they can decide where those materials can go and which students need to have them. So the Chrome extension is a game changer. It again allows us to meaningfully organize material across the internet.
And I love going back to Sarah's presentation with the QR codes and these two portfolios, like on a parent curriculum night, when we're showcasing student work, we could have those QR codes. So Sarah, thank you for that idea.
Yes.
A way to showcase our students for a more public audience. So thank you for that.
Yes. And so then Felisa and I use Wakelet religiously, if I can use that term. Not only do we use the Chrome extension as we are gathering resources to share out with teachers and peers and students for trainings and so forth, we also use it when we come over here to Party in a Bag, and we have this link to share with you. When was this, January or February?
I believe it was actually during when we were still in the pandemic, but we were trying to come up with a training for teachers of what would you put in a party bag to survive 2020 and beyond. So these were some of our favorite ed tech tools that helped us get through this time in education. And we created a Wakelet and shared it with the participants at this particular teacher conference. And so Wakelet is a great way if you're working with or collaborating with teachers, if you're providing a professional learning session, to share your resources that you have created in that presentation. At the end, you can just share everything that you have trained on with your teachers so that they always have access. And if they forgot something, they can just go back to the Wakelet. So we just always try to follow this best practice whenever we're training.
And I just want to reiterate how attractive it is. We are in an entirely graphic culture and society right now. And so we were able to just take a snip, just a screenshot of our first slide that we used for our Party in a Bag training. We made it our header. And then we just chose a fun party background, and look at how attractive this is. This is not lost on our students. Our students are also aware and drawn in and further engaged by really attractive Wakelet. Okay, and so we're able to not only share it out with teachers, it took us about 15 minutes to make this, but then again, we have a portfolio of tools that we know will make somebody's day, a lot of good, fun things. And we're sharing them with you today. So you get our 5+ EdTech tools to survive 2020 and beyond.
And one thing, we know that whether we're visual learners or auditory learners, Wakelet has the capability for you to put any type of multimedia resources within it. So we can have the videos in here, but we can also set up the layout of the Wakelet so that it's more pleasing to the end user. So it's just so many ways that we can customize this, and this just further supports that personalization that we're going for and making sure that all of our students' needs are being met.
Yes. Okay. And so I know you already said it, but let me underscore all the multimedia that are here in this Wakelet. And now maybe we can talk a little bit about the Minecraft Student Ambassador Program and how you created this Wakelet.
So in our district, we created a Minecraft Student Ambassador Program, and it was the first program of its kind in the nation. But as we were working with our students throughout this year, we wanted to make sure that we showcased and highlighted all of the great work that these students did, because these were truly our Minecraft leaders in our district. And so we created a Wakelet of Wakelets just to showcase and capture everything that they had done from the very first meeting that we met with them. We called it a boot camp. And we actually had them meet with Minecraft team, Minecraft Education Edition team. And so all of that was captured. We were always constantly trying to find our pictures and things. So we just said, no, let's just put all of this in a Wakelet so that we know where everything is, but all the activities the way we did throughout that year. So this is just another idea of how you as an educator can track your lessons, your units, your anything by content, whatever you need to. Wakelet is the perfect platform that allows you to do that. But additionally, our students are able to contribute to this Wakelet, because whether they took pictures at these events, we want everyone to be able to add to this Wakelet so that we can continue to capture the growth of our program. So we'll continue to use this Wakelet as we progress with our Minecraft Student Ambassador Program.
Okay. And so I think we have reviewed and shared all the different ways that we are using Wakelet in Atlanta Public Schools. Again, we are gearing up for a large personalized learning initiative, which will begin in January. And we know what an awesome opportunity and tool that Wakelet provides. I like to say it's the Pinterest of education. I think we all say that. And then we haven't even talked about the search feature. So going forward, we'll just remind our teachers that, hey, you can also search for meaningful content that other teachers have curated because we're all teaching very similar standards. We're all teaching very similar goals. And so Wakelet provides not only a place for teachers to build portfolios or units and students to create portfolios, but also for teachers to meaningfully search for content similar to content they've seen before and things that are brand new. And again, that has shared our personalized learning journey. And feel free to connect with us on Wakelet. Felisa's Wakelet is at Ford Felisa 165. And then you can connect with me on Wakelet at rwash5. Feel free to connect with us on Twitter as well.
So at this time, do we have any questions? And I see that I'm looking at some of the comments and a lot of great comments, a lot of great ideas. So I thank you for that. You know, as educators, we're always feeding off of each other, getting great ideas from each other, support. So you'll see within this one that Rosalind is sharing. I also have a lot of my social studies content in there as well. I even have a Wakelet that I curated all about primary sources. You know, we do a lot of document analysis in social studies, so I needed to make sure that our social studies teachers had access to some good content.
No, that was an amazing session. Thanks so much, Rosalind and Felisa. It was amazing. And again, like Sarah's, the comments weren't so much questions. It was just, yeah, I totally agree with you. And we have people saying Minecraft and Wakelet is a great idea. They can have all of the students work in one place. There was actually
Absolutely. And I
another.
think with that, of course, we can have students record as their builds in Minecraft, and they could put that in a Wakelet. If you have a build challenge that students are doing a Minecraft build challenge, they can record their builds, talk about their thinking as they're building, and add it to a Wakelet as a showcase of all of the great things and the great ways students are building in Minecraft.
Yeah, I love seeing it. Another ambassador we have, Carrie Ann in South Africa, created this amazing virtual science fair inside Wakelet where all of the students built things in Minecraft. And me and Elle from the team, we had the joy of being a judge on the contest. So it was absolutely brilliant to see it. So I love seeing people using Wakelet inside Minecraft inside of Wakelet. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing you touched on which I found quite interesting, was that we're living in like a graphic culture and society, and that Wakelet looks quite engaging and beautiful. Like we know that students now, they're the generation of TikTok, and can sometimes feel a bit distracted by the kind of the bombardment of information they have visually. So I was just wondering, like, if you kind of could speak a little about the difference in your students when using this kind of media compared to maybe traditional teaching methods.
I want to just say that because Wakelet is a closed environment, it's a one-stop shop. It allows an opportunity for students to engage in resources in distraction-free. So you don't have to give them 5 separate links and then they're opening up various tabs and getting lost along the way and clicking on some news story that popped up or whatever. Wakelet provides a platform, a medium, and a kind of closed environment, which we can then embed in our learning management systems. And so it, again, one more opportunity to avoid distractions.
And going back to the graphics, the choice boards is a great example, and it goes also back to the personalized learning piece.
Yes.
Students are pulled into anything that's colorful, beautiful, because they're in the gaming environment, the TikTok environment. So they need that first initial grasp, to bring them into the learning. So Wakelet provides a platform for us to do that, to pull them in, and then have them go deeper with the content or whatever it is that we're providing.
And yes, definitely. And on top of that as well, the ability to be able to collaborate with other students. And you mentioned how they can react to each other's content on there. Do you find that something that your class really enjoys?
Yes, it helps to build a sense of community, and especially when we're now more in a digital environment, you're still trying to create that community within the classroom, whether we're face-to-face or virtual. This allows us to still interact and engage and to be able to provide feedback and support for each other. So we're loving that.
And as you get the Party in a Bag Wakelet, we'd love for you to, for any viewers and any other participants, to give us some feedback by giving us a thumbs up or reaction to some of the resources in Party in a Bag.
I'm sure people love doing that. The resource has been shared in the chat, so if anyone wants to go and react to that collection, then go ahead. We'll get everyone in there. That's brilliant. Yeah, what we're gonna do now is we'll bring Sarah back on, and we can go through like any questions that anyone may have for like the presentation in general. So one of the things that I really liked about this was, Sarah, you went first and you had the QR codes on your presentation, which I do think is an amazing idea. But then Felisa and Rosalind like took from that, and like now you can go ahead and like create things. And I just think that's like really nice about this session. Everyone here can like exchange ideas.
I love the idea of being able to differentiate that fact that you can make up a Wakelet, and I don't know why I haven't actually thought of it before, and that's why these sessions are great, that I can have students at different levels within my class, and the resources are then particularly tailored to them in that Wakelet, and you can set it up as a collaborative one as well, where they're uploading the stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that's definitely given me food for thought going back into class tomorrow morning.
Well, thank you, Sarah. That was a one-on-one exchange.
Yes.
Got something great from you as well.
Yes.
I noticed Terry had asked about issues with privacy in the students. We share our waitlist with our students just with a code, so they're not having to log in. It's something that for us to have students signing up and using emails, it's something that within our local authority we have to be really careful with. And we have to get permission before we're allowed to do that on platforms. But being able to, the students have a code, then they're able to very easily upload their information. There's not any GDPR problems or issues at all with them. So that's how we're using it.
Same for us. We haven't run into any issues with student privacy. And even for the littles, it's easy for them to be able to access Wakelet via the codes and all of that, especially if they don't have email addresses. So we try to keep them contained within either Teams or Google Classroom for just sharing links.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the anonymous way to join a collection and even a space is a good way around that when students don't have an email. But as well, if you were to create student accounts, we comply with COPPA, FERPA, GDPR, and a whole host of other agreements so that you can have the peace of mind that your students are safe on there. And also certain features that might not comply with those things we've toggled off. So the students on a student account can't access search, just as a kind of safety precaution for them. So little things like that. You can read more about the student accounts feature and anything like data related there in the help center. And if anyone has any further questions about that, they can just shoot an email to community@wakelet.com and someone will be happy to help. Does anyone have any more questions about the session? Just ask them away and we can answer them for you. And maybe between us here, have we kind of got something that we'd like to take away from the session? I know I've got a few things that I'm going to definitely take away from both sessions, like with the QR codes being one. I think that's amazing. And then also what was said in Rosalind and Felicia's session about giving students support at every level through Wakelet with things like the Immersive Reader. I think it's something that we overlook because we kind of take the feature for granted because it's there. But then, yeah, a reminder that is like such a powerful thing. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
That's really important to us.
Sorry, on you go.
I was going to say, that's really important for us, for students to have those built-in supports while working on the content, because we don't want them to have to struggle with reading the content or accessing content while we have them inside this platform of Wakelet.
Oh, Sarah, you go on. You were about to say.
Well, I was just saying, and you pointed out the reactions in there as well. I know with our staff that it's being shared out with the newly qualified teachers, because it's being shared out each week, they are being asked to like the post each week so that the staff that are managing that can see that it's been read and it's been looked at. So obviously you've got the views, but when she's putting up new posts every week, you can then just say to your students as well, and students love to like things. So you just get that idea that they like it, they've seen it. That's another thing that I can say, well, at least they're on it.
And that helps them think that they're using social media, exactly. Instagram, Twitter, exactly. All of that. They're used to liking their reactions.
Exactly. And one of my takeaways is something that Sarah talked about. I always say we talk a lot about student engagement. We talk a lot about student choice. We talk a lot about supporting students. Equally important is teacher choice, teacher engagement, and supporting teachers. And so we talked about, PL and supporting teachers and giving them this resource, but Sarah talked about the newly qualified teachers. Think about if you were a brand new teacher, how awesome it would be to be given the idea of Wakelet. Don't you wish we had this when we were new teachers 20 some odd years ago? This is year 24 for me. Or even when you became, versed in ed tech, 10 years ago. What a great support that is for teachers and for new teachers to not only have the Wakelet platform, but to receive so many resources in the Wakelet platform. Again, any opportunity to organize or streamline is a gift for teachers. That's a level of teacher support.
And that's what I was really as well being able to brand it for our school. So, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
anything that we're sending out with parents, we can upload the school badge and have that as a background. So instantly the parents know that this is coming from the school. The students know that it links to the school. So that's
a good one.
that branding is there for us as well.
That's going to be my takeaway, because whenever we work together and we share this, we showed you the PL Wakelets that we give out, but I love the idea of saving the background for a similar brand that you're going to use time and time again. I like that. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I mean, like Sarah said, it's really good that you can use Wakelet across all of those different departments and different levels, whether it is teacher to student, student to student, or even teacher to teacher. It's a tool for everybody, and it has got like many use cases. So, and especially with the power to be able to brand it like that and really kind of package up the resource for whether it is a new teacher or if it's for a parent, it kind of does kind of close the loop almost, doesn't it, with communication in general?
Yes.
Absolutely. And just a perfect platform for a classroom newsletter, communicating with parents, or a class website.
And it lends itself to that because we can do what we've seen today of embedding a Wakelet inside of a Wakelet. So you could have, the last 4 months Wakelet that could just be at the bottom, the last 4 months newsletters or whatever. So it's great that you can embed a Wakelet in a Wakelet. And I think it really does lend itself to newsletters.
Yeah, and another little top tip, which I've just thought of now after you said that, is being able to embed a Wakelet into an actual website. If you go into the share and copy the embed code, instead of having to go in there and update, say if you've got a page for the newsletter, you just pop it in the collection and it'll update in real time. I think that's one that not a lot of people know. So I guess there's loads of little tips like that. And yeah, again, that's why these sessions are so amazing. So if no one else has any questions in the chat, then I guess we'll end it here. The certificate link has been sent in there now, so everyone who attended, you'll be able to grab that, and the certificate will be emailed to you in just a short while. But thanks so much, Sarah, Rosalind, Felisa, it's been amazing. And yeah, hope to see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. This has been awesome, and we hope to connect with Sarah on Twitter and
I'll
Wakelet.
find you on Twitter for sure straight after this.
I'm gonna follow your Wakelets, Sarah, because I know they're gonna be so awesome. What's your Wakelet ID?
Sorry, my Wakelet ID. I had it up here. It's not looking very nice to. I'll share my screen. That's probably going to be the easiest thing rather than trying to say it out loud.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. No worries. Don't worry about
I'll
it.
just share it very, very quickly for anybody else as well. Some of them are, we keep them private if I've got kid stuff in them, but there we go. There's me.
Okay.
Windswept. SFM.
Okay.
Some other bits.
All right. Thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah, no, we can pop that in the chat as well if you want, so you can all connect afterwards as well. But yeah, thanks so much for coming, and thanks everyone for attending. Keep an eye out for your certificate and enjoy the rest of your days.
Take care.
Bye.